Hey everyone, it's Dave from Dave's Ohio Barbecue. Today we're going to be making something different. We're going to be making ketchup. Stick around. So I know ketchup isn't technically barbecue, and this channel is Dave's Ohio Barbecue, but it is something that goes really well with barbecue. You can use it to make sauce, you can use it straight on barbecue, and this ketchup recipe is insane. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, you know what? Let's go to Oregon and hear from my friend JB, see what he has to say about it.
It's ain't even ketchup, man. If that's what you want to call it. It's the best darn ketchup you ever had in your life. Skiddly-doo.
Skiddly-doo indeed. Thank you, brother. This stuff is like, some people have described it as if barbecue sauce and ketchup had a baby. Some people described it as ketchup, but with more complex flavor and a much better tomato taste. However you describe it, this stuff is amazing, and it tastes so good. It's great on anything that you would usually use ketchup on. It's great on hot dogs. It's great on burgers. It's great to make sauces. You just have to be careful because it's a little sweeter than usual ketchup, so you gotta adjust your recipe appropriately. We're gonna be cooking this outside on the side burner of my Weber grill here. It was a hot day. I didn't really feel like steaming up the kitchen, so outside's always good, but you can do any of this indoor on your stove. Works just the same. This recipe, you need to start off with 6 pounds of tomatoes. Any type of tomato that you would usually make sauce out of will work. I tend to use Roma tomatoes, but whatever you like is fine, just as long as they're nice ripe tomatoes. Start by coring out the center of them and dicing them up into quarters. Chuck them in a pot. Next thing you're going to need is you're going to need 2 large onions. Just kind of quarter them up and break apart the layers. I used 1 large onion and 2 little small ones here, but you get the gist. You kind of have to be in the ballpark of 2 large onions. So next what you want to do is you want to take a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of pickling spice and dump it onto a square of cheesecloth. Pickling spice, you can find it in the spice aisle in most supermarkets. It's just a mixture of spices that are made for exactly that, pickling. I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of celery seed, whole celery seed, not ground, and dump that on the cheesecloth as well. What you're going to do is you're going to take that cheesecloth, you're going to bunch it up into a little pouch and tie it together with some twine. That goes in with the tomatoes and the onions, and it helps flavor the juice as you boil the tomatoes down. When you have the pouch and the tomatoes and onions in the pot, put it on the burner and start cooking it. So basically what you're looking for is you're looking for the tomatoes and the onions to give up all their juice. You want this big, mushy vat of tomatoes and onions, just kind of tons of liquid boiling away. You want to get it so they're all soft and you can just smush them with a spoon and they fall apart. You don't want them to really have any firmness left to them. So it takes a little while to boil. I boiled my pot for about an hour until it got to the consistency I like, and it was on a pretty strong boil too. This is the part of the recipe where you need specialized equipment. You need to have either a hand-cranked food mill like this one, or you need to have the attachment to your KitchenAid that strains out solid pieces and leaves the juice behind. Either one will work. I've got the thing for the KitchenAid. I'm going to show it to you here. I actually left the splash guard off just so you could see the juice kind of dripping out to get an idea of what it's doing. And I'm going to run the entire batch through this, and in the pot below what's going to be left is just this tomato juice that's been flavored with onions and the pickling spices and the celery seed. It's going to be left behind, and that's what we're going to turn into ketchup. Once you have all that strained out, then you add the next set of ingredients. You're going to add 1 3/4 cups of white vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar if you want, but I've always used white and it works fine. You want to add 2 cups of brown sugar packed in there. 2 cups of brown sugar weighs about a pound if you're looking to weigh it out, if that's easier for you. And then you need 1 tablespoon of salt. Put all that into the pot and bring it to a boil. What you're trying to do is you're trying to boil it as long as you can to get it thick. When my father-in-law makes this, he makes it really runny, and I kind of hate it. When I do it, I boil it much longer than him, and I get it ketchup consistency. One of the ways you can help with the ketchup consistency is after it's been boiling for a couple hours, probably 2-3 hours, you can add a mixture of cornstarch and water into it. What I do is I usually take about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, put it in a bowl, add enough water to mix it into a slurry, and then I dump it into the juice to thicken it up a little bit. You know it's done when you stick a metal spoon in there and it coats the back of the spoon and covers it really nicely. Then it's pretty much ketchup consistency. Once it gets done boiling and it's all thickened up, the next thing you have to do is can it. There's 2 processes to can it. There's the way my father-in-law does it, and there's the way I do it. I'll tell you both. The way my father-in-law does it is he heats up his jars, he pours the ketchup right into it, he puts the lid on, closes the band, lets it sit, and it seals itself. Sometimes this works great, sometimes not so much. What I prefer to do is I heat up my jars, I fill them, I leave about a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch of headspace at the top of the jar. I heat up my lids, I put them onto the jar, seal it with a band, and then I put it into a water bath. What you have to do with the water bath is put them into a big pot, make sure that the jars are covered by at least 1 inch of water, and then you want to boil it. Once it gets to a boil, turn the timer on for 20 minutes, let it boil pretty hard for 20 minutes, turn off the burner after that, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then you can take the jars out and let them cool completely on a towel on your counter. And then you're done. Ketchup. It'll store really well for a couple years. I've had some down there at least 2 years and it has not been affected at all, still in perfect condition, but chances are you're going to go through it so quick that you don't even have to worry about it. As always, tell a friend about my channel. Be sure to follow me on social media. Hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching and see you soon.